Actually, give me 1 sec. I started the stream, but I wasn't ready. What am I doing? Oh god, it's so slow. Ugh. My computer can barely handle all of this. Let's see, I've been trying to upload the VODs to YouTube automatically, so I need to start processing that. So let's see. September 2nd was the last one, so I have 2 that need to be sent. So export September 5th, 2021. Public, send it. September 7th. Export September 7th, 2021. Public, send it. With just the kind of the basic, well, not the basic, the default description and all that. Alright, sick. Looks good to me. Anyways, let's get back to it. So what we're going to be... Oh, hello, DeadSec. How are you doing today? What we're going to be doing today is trying to finish up this part of the application, which is... Oh my god, it's a viewbot. Hold on. Haas 00312. Hello. How are you doing? Am I not audible? No, I am audible. Hello. So what I'm trying to do is hook up this part of the application to this part of the application is corresponds pretty much 1-to-1 with this part. So you can see here that we have the face tracker FPS and the start, stop, set offsets. That's pretty much it in terms of important bits. And then what we'll probably do after that is I don't know, have like some sort of toggle in app settings to show the, I guess the terminal output, the logging stuff. Let's see. Alright, anyways. Here we are. Ignore the ban in chat. It's very weird. It's like someone just has like a bot that just restreams other people's content. It's very strange. I recognize their name. And they actually appear on a lot of so the idea is that you create a bot and then it goes around to people's streams, clicks follow, unfollow, so that their name kind of pops up on stream if you have like a fancy stream overlay, which is probably what's happening with this, right? So they see that I have some sort of weird stream overlay going. So, oh, okay, they have a stream overlay. Let's see if we can get my name to pop up. I don't do that unless you talk in chat. Yeah, you know, I should do something like that though. Probably build in another module to the stream overlay. So if you talk in chat once and you followed, it will shout you out. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's get to it. We're almost done. Home stretch. Oh, hello, Philippe. How are you doing today? Just gotta make sure I'm actually talking, by the way. Alright. There we go. What we're doing today, no games, but we're just trying to implement kind of the last and most important part of the face tracker stuff, which is the actual, click on starting the face tracker from within the application and then listening. So it shouldn't be too hard, since I already have kind of the UI built out for that, so I just need to write the handlers now. So we have the tracker FPS, which we can listen for, and then the start tracker, which doesn't do anything. And then camera select not yet implemented, and then we have disabled button. Probably won't be a button. Anyways, Philippe, just so you don't have to ask, I moved on, or I may or may not have moved on to the final round of an interview I may or may not be participating in. So that's cool. That's cool. It is weird though that they keep giving me times in like Irish time. I'm not Irish. So it's a little painful having to convert to and from. It feels like a test. It's like, how good is this person at converting to and from time zones? Which, to be fair, I'm actually kind of bad at converting to and from time zones. One of my weaknesses. Oh, congrats. Thank you, thank you. Oh, hello, Gyozan. Good to see that the ASCII duck is very popular. So what we're trying to do here, I don't remember what this buffer is used for. What are we using the buffer for? We can probably take this out. Oop. Not a command. Take this out. Take this out. We'll take this out later. That's all kind of like legacy C# stuff when I was porting it over. Yes. Yes. So let's see. This is our kind of tracking singleton. So what we can do is have this. Let me see. There's a few things in play here. I think the first one is that I need to figure out how I was initially doing this bit, which is the run face tracker button. I know how it works somewhat. This is part of the program that hasn't really changed too often. So I need to take another look at it. Let's see. Okay, so here's what we can do. Is I just grab this entire portion and then paste it into the other part. Yeah, I like that. Let's do it. Let's do it. So grab all of this, just a little bit of copy and paste. Boing. Go back to here. Connections, and then we'll just listen for funk nods. Yes. The Brotherhood of Nod. Am I right? Peace through power, etc., etc. On start tracker. So that's just a button. No information that we need to handle. Just kind of slap all this into here. There's gonna be a few problems. For sure. Do I have access to OpenCGD? This is an auto load, yes. So we do have access to it. And have you played I guess Command and Conquer Tiberium Sun? Is it Tiberian or Tiberium? Tiberium Sun. Yeah. Nah, that's a game I like to play. Was it Red Alert 1, Red Alert 2, and then Tiberian Sun. Those are like the games from my childhood. Big fan of those. And I always thought the story for Tiberium Sun was pretty cool. Because it's like, one, it was, you know, Command and Conquer game, so they have like full motion video cutscenes. Super sick. Super scuffed, but that's part of the charm. Let's see. And then the kind of story background is pretty cool as well, where you have like some sort of asteroid. That's actually kind of what my kind of initial game idea is kind of drawing a lot from, is that there's some sort of asteroid events, meteor events, because it makes contact with the Earth. And then bad things happen, apocalypse, etc., etc. Yeah, and the nod is somehow like, was it made up of, was it second and third world countries, but somehow also has more advanced technology than, you know, I guess basically the UN, or I guess it would be basically NATO, which is just first world countries. So it's basically like, what if the Cold War kicked off, but we had, you know, an asteroid event, a meteor event to go with it. And also Tiberium, which comes from the meteor. It's pretty cool. I loved playing as Nod because they had like just the weirdest units. Like, oh, we have stealth units. Also, we have laser turrets. What's the obelisk called? Eye of Nod? I don't know. Yeah, I think Tiberium Sun is free and open source now if you want to build it yourself. Like, it's just been open sourced by EA, which is cool. Alright, so I think most of these will be false, or they just won't be available. But I think we can store some things here, so we'll have like a face tracker FPS, which is going to be some sort of integer. We'll default it to 12. So that's good. If face tracker FPS is a valid float. Okay, well, can't do that. Must be a string then. I would have set it equal to 12. Actually, we probably don't want to do that. Because we'll need to read from a config file, I think. Or maybe not. It's hard to say. Am I storing this anywhere? So in my config manager, I did add a, tracker FPS. So we need to, face tracker FPS, we need to pull this from config manager whenever it's available. You're quite entertaining, even though I know no code. Oh, thank you, thank you. It's because I'm practicing my ability to do two completely different things at once. One of which is talking. Talking about random subjects and or just like what I'm doing. Which is something that is hard for a lot of people, just like talking about what you're doing. Like, say like if you're drawing a picture, right? Are you able to talk about what the entire picture is going to be about, as opposed to like, you know, I'm gonna draw a line here, then you draw a line. You know, there's different things. Or it's a different kind of skill set that I think some people are born with, but you can definitely teach yourself. I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. Is you'll get better and better at just doing two things at once. Timothy the expert talker. Oh yeah. Definitely. I mean, it's part of my job, being able to talk. Right. Otherwise, I wouldn't be very good at my job. Which is, I guess that would be obvious. Let me rephrase that in a way that makes slightly more sense. Well, I think I've explained it before, right? So like, you know, technical consultant, that's my professional day job. So I give a lot of demos. And so a good demo, you don't want to leave more than like roughly three seconds. I always say 3 seconds, but that's just my rule, right? But any downtime, people start getting nervous, they get uncomfortable, so they start interrupting your demo, which is something you don't want to do. So you need to be able to just keep on talking. And that's something that I'm trying to train myself to do, which is why this is, which is why I like streaming. It's good practice. What I miss, what I kiss. Kiss to me. He needs kisses. Hershey's kisses, maybe. Ooh. Please no kisses. Unfortunately, I'm not a very good kisser. I've been told that before. Very sad. A very bad kisser. You know, not afraid to admit it. The life of a more or less single male. That's a tough one. I've read up on how to do it properly, but it's just like, I don't know, man. It feels like something you just need to do until you get good at it. You can be kissed in the cheeks, upper cheeks or lower cheeks. There's no way to be a bad kisser there's no French one. You should kiss more so you get better. Both upper and lower, oh baby. Banned for lewdness. 24-hour ban, permanent. Update tracker. So we need to subscribe to this event. I know kiss, I mooch. You mooch or you smooch? Like, I had to correct myself when I was reading that. I was about to read it as smooch, but it actually reads mooch. Mooching is the act of, I guess, being a leech. So you are a parasite. Or smooching is like implies like a really wet and sloppy kiss. Let's see. Tracker FPS, start tracker, update tracker. No, this is update tracker button. Or I guess update. We can have like an update button text. I cannot kiss you because that way GFNG probably won't be pleased, but you need to find kissy kissers. No. Haven't you heard? There's a, you know, small global pandemic going around. People are drinking too much crappy beer. Heard it's called Corona or something like that. Let's see. Update button text. You kiss via emoji. I'm lonely. I'm so lonely. I got nobody on my own. Sexting. I don't, you know, sexting is something that I've never really understood. It's like, it's just weird. I don't get it. Is it like calling like a phone sex line? Something I've also never done. I don't know. That's just weird to me, man. That's just weird to me. All right, so we have value, and then I guess, what should it be? What should it be now? I guess we can do like matched event. I guess it'd be event name. So we want to Or like a listener name. Listener. And then a listener, some sort of string, send it. Okay. Huh. If it's weird, so are people. Oh no, the smooching in chat. Bonk. I think that's one emoji, not emoji, that's one emote I think I want to make eventually, is a bonk emote. Oh geez, it's an essay. We'll read that in a little bit. Don't be because Timmy needs to improve and you need company so you can match and Skillshare. Unauthorized advertising in chat. The best website for watch too much YouTube. This is true. Let's see. Broadcast update button text. Broadcast update button text. One of these, and we'll broadcast out a listener and a value. It's an essay. Well, it's displaying as 4 lines, which is a lot to read. Anything more than 5 words is more or less an essay in my world. So we want to broadcast update button text, and so the listener is going to be, I don't know, something, and then this is going to be stop face tracker text. Okay. Broadcast update button text is what's your problem? Identifier stop face tracker. Hey, it is though. Huh? Defined in. Oh, it's not defined in this current context. Okay, so what is it? This is system options. You're supposed to be the guy that bragged about loving English class and he was really good at it. I was really good at it. That's why I'm able to read so fast. My English is excellent. Thank you very much. Alright, so we solved that. Get rid of this. I like... Well, no, I hated English class. Or literature class. English and literature class. But was very good at it. You know? If only because I don't really read correctly. I've already discovered the secret to speed reading. It's mostly you just need to read a lot, so all the sentences all kind of look the same after a little bit. So update, broadcast update button text. So we want to, what we're trying to do with this API is that when we do this, we'll have broadcast update button text. We'll broadcast out the, I guess, the events that we're trying to, I guess, listen for. And then we'll also have this thing which changes the value. All right, you know what? Let's rename this. This should be more like update element text. Update element text, and then this is broadcast update element text. Update element text. What about the a Doki Doki Literature Club one? Don't mind me, I'm really good with jokes and references. Oh baby. You do have the references though. Let's see. Get rid of this. App manager, SB broadcast, update element text, and we still need to figure out what we want to do for this. So this is a run face tracker, by the way. Run face tracker text. So in GUI, we only have so many, I guess, XML constants. Actually, we have a lot of XML constants. So let's see. I think tracking is probably not the one that we want to look for, but we can look at I guess presets. Maybe we can look at presets. So there's type. No. We can just have like a listener attribute. I'm just adding more and more attributes. I think this is something I haven't really thought out properly. So listener, right? And so if there is a listener attribute, and then we'll also update base element with this base element. And so, you know, is disabled false by default? Then we'll hit it with is listener, is listening, is listening. I don't know. How would I do this? Like I'm just making up the API as I go along. So I don't know. Is listening. So we can have this default to false, and then I guess we'll just have to implement this later, or maybe we'll implement it in GUI. Maybe we won't even need to update base element. So here we can have, you know, we have a few things here. Let's move this all the way down to the bottom. Right, so then we have this kind of block of code here. Actually, let's move all of these. Let's rearrange it so it's more cohesive. It looks a lot better. I think that's an underrated part of programming, is making sure that your code is, I guess, it flows correctly. Right? So this is all of our kind of modifiable input. And this is a match statement, so hopefully match statements are more efficient. That's I guess the idea behind a match statement. So if else, right, it has to process every single, I guess, if else, right, in that order. It's sequential, whereas a match statement is hopefully converted to like a jump table, so it's a constant cost. I think that's the reason why you would want to prefer match statements for longer lists. Although if your list is only like, you know, 2 or 3 things, the benefit is negligible. And then what you give up in readability, or you give up readability for pretty much no benefit. Are you planning on making your VTuber render commercial or just a fun project? I have ideas to make it commercial, but it's mostly just like a fun project for sure, right? I don't really care. Like it's a fun project. It's mostly just to help my, you know, my professional image, I guess. Right, because I think writing VTuber stuff like this is extremely niche, unfortunately. Because, right, so I guess to put an example to the thought. So it's for portfolio, yes, pretty much. But the idea, or the reason why I'm not making it commercial is because right, it's not really doing anything new, I guess. It's just implementing something that hasn't been implemented in this specific use case, right? So face tracking a 3D model is not exactly new. It's not easy to do, but also it doesn't really have too much commercial application outside of basically like streaming, streaming or VR. It's a really fun program. Yeah, but it's not like, you know, tons of games already have more or less, you know, lifelike movements. You know, iToy, PlayStation iToy, if you remember that way back in the day. I've only ever played that at like Walmart's. But, you know, it's not new technology. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not new technology. And hold on, I'm trying to think here. What do I want to do? Label. So we have our labeled text. How do I update this programmatically? But yeah, it's not something new. Whereas, you know, if you're talking about live 2D, which is, you know, you're animating basically a picture, that's somewhat new, and it also has lots of use cases in games. Basically, mostly visual novels, but you know, or gacha games. I understand what you're saying. Oh baby, you don't know you. That's the idea. I think that explanation kind of perfectly encapsulates what I'm trying to break away from doing, which is kind of rambling. Because I'm doing two things at once, and I'm trying to, one, solve a problem on screen, and two, trying to express a kind of some complicated reasoning at the same time that's not related to whatever I'm doing on stream. So true, false. I suppose we could also do yes and no. Yes. Go full like YAML syntax. God, I hate it when programs use, instead of doing true, false, they just use yes and no. But we're going to support it. We're doing it. Let's see. So if it is a listener, then we need to have some sort of function to update the text, right? So label elements, what do you have? We have label text equals a label. So does everything have a label? I suppose this might work, right? So label element has a label, of course, obviously. Does color picker element have a label? I don't know. Color picker element has a label. Most of these have a label, which is cool. True, yes, all right. Slash ban Philippe Ratu for being a heretic. Blasphemy. We only use booleans in this chat. All right, so not everything has a dynamic toggle. Oh, this is a dynamic toggle script. I don't even know if this is used anymore. Input button does not have a line edit. Okay. Or it doesn't have a label, it just has a line edit. So label. I just clicked on label element again. Does list element have a label? List element is just tough. That's a tough one. All right, so most of these have labels. Okay. I wonder if it's worth it actually to go into, well, maybe, I don't know. We're gonna do this though. So I guess on listen event, I guess. On listen event. I don't know. That doesn't feel right. So the syntax I'm going with, I probably don't want to go with listener, right? That seems bad. What if we do like updatable? That doesn't make any sense either. I need different words. Words are difficult. So listener doesn't really talk about what is exactly being listened to. So signal broadcaster, we have update element text. Text updatable could be a possible field. Let's see. Text updatable. Label updatable. True. Right? Yeah, listener doesn't make any sense because it doesn't. It's not self-descriptive, right? Like, what are you listening to? Yes. What if we do like, I don't know, like label updatable? Is that how you spell updatable? How do you spell updatable? Updatable. Updatable. Okay, cool. Isn't that a band? You're a band. Kind of makes sense to listen to yes. Does it? No, I think the more I say it out loud, the less it makes sense to me. Label updatable. Yes. No. True. I'm sorry, you didn't see that. On label updated. I'm a band. Yes. You are. I was about to say you're poor and out of work. No, that's. No, that's you are. I don't know. You're filled with men. I don't know. I have nothing for that. There was the initial joke, but then the joke was kind of insulting. Filled with mint. Yes, you're filled with mint. Or as they say mint in Japanese, minto. I am indeed poor and out of work. Oh, well, there we go. You're a band. There we go. Actually not out of work because I work for myself. Does that make you a neat? On update element text. Update. Let's call this update label text. Update label text. Update. I don't know, I'm trying to make an API that makes sense. And then this is That's tough. That's tough. We'll just call this event, right? So there's certain events, so each thing has an event associated with it, more or less. Or does it? Actually, that's not true. Name. Okay, so we'll call it name. Name. Element. Element. Name. How do neats survive like bills? I'm pretty sure neats just, they either work from home, so I guess I would almost consider a neat. So actually that doesn't make any sense, right? I think their parents pay for them. I don't know too much about neat culture. Okay, I've done my Googling. I'm not a neat. I do work. I just don't get money, not for a company. But the no money part is kind of a problem that I'm trying to fix. I wish you luck in trying to fix the no money part. I wish you luck. Sounds difficult. I think label text is always just going to be the name. Yeah, or the display name. Well, so we can use the label text. Right? Do they? I don't know. Do they? How many characters is that? That's 3, 6, 8. What is an 8-letter word that may or may not be censored? I have some savings from my previous job, so well, you know, I think my unsolicited advice is to learn how to program, but that's just me. I think programming is something that kind of opens up a lot of opportunities, especially since, you know, you clearly know English, and so knowing English is like probably one of the best things you can have in terms of, you know, learning to program, because unfortunately programming is kind of English biased, right? Because most languages are for whatever reason developed in English. So just knowing English puts you at an advantage. I make Godot games. Oh baby. You can work for Tesla. Result dot. Wait, no. It'll be app manager SB connect. We want to connect to update label text. Connect results and then on label updated. Yeah, look at that. And then no, we just don't do anything. I know that people in my college kind of struggled more than me for programming stuff because they had to memorize stuff instead of just knowing what it meant. Yeah, that's one of the, you know, I'm very aware of my privilege of I guess growing up in the US. Puts you at an advantage for a lot of, I guess, technology jobs. Which, you know, I acknowledge. There's an advantage I have. But I also make sure that I don't squander that, you know. I think it's one thing to grow up with privilege, it's another thing to grow up with privilege and then not use it. It's just weird. I don't know. But we're not here to talk about philosophy. So on label updated, and then this takes label. That's not it. Hold on, this doesn't make any sense. So element name, but this is already the label text. What am I doing? I got you. I got you. Got you, bruh. Yeah. Anyways. I'm trying to figure... This API doesn't make any sense, right? Because if I tag it to the label text, I suppose I could tag it to the initial label text, right? And then, yeah, I could just tag it to the initial label text. So we always broadcast out to start tracker. And then anything that, right, because that also allows me to be able to, I don't know, man, because the idea behind this function is that I change this name. I don't know. Hold on. Var label element is equal to get label. I'm just here to hang you hang out. I tried to, my brain filled in the last part of the sentence. So hang out, clearly. I read it initially as hang you, but that seems a little aggressive, to be sure. You got it right. Yeah, that's I was hoping I got it right. Otherwise, I guess I should be a little worried. Might get lynched. My state has a history of that, I guess. Oh, dang it. Can't even spell check what I send. That's okay. I spell check it for you, although I don't always make the correct spell check assessments. So if we have if this thing has a label element, and then there is a label name, so string, and then some sort of value, which is also a string. So if label element, then label element dot text is equal to value, and then this is one of the instances where we are kind of duck typing, unfortunately. And then, okay, so here's what we can do. So this label text actually never changes. So then we can do if label name is not equal label text, then we just send it. HM, hidden machine. Lab, yes, lab. Indeed. Machine, indeed. All of these are indeed statements. Do you think this will work? So label updatable, and then we'll change this part. So let's open up GUI again. And at the very top, we'll adjust this part. So it's no longer listener, it's now label updateable. This one is label updatable. And then this one needs to change, label updatable, and then label updatable like that. Okay, and then hopefully it'll work. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here at this point. So start tracker, and so this is kind of the weird bit, is that we're just kind of doing a blind kind of one of these. So update element text. So the start tracker element, we find this. This thing listens for label updates, and then it just does a stop page tracker text. We'll see if it works or not. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of how I live my life. It's super dangerously. We just send it. So there's a few things. One, I need to change these bits, I think. So we need that. Let's see, OpenCGD. I don't think we need to do this. But what? Stop receiver. This is the receiver. We don't need to call ourselves, we can just call it directly. Let's see, on start tracker. So we are listening for, oh, we aren't listening for this. So start tracker, so we need to do app manager SB connect start tracker. Is that what it's called? Start tracker? At the very bottom here. Where is it? Start tracker. Where is start tracker? Start tracker. So start tracker itself, and then on start tracker. Bits. Yes, bits. Bits and or bytes. I don't really work with those. I do, well, I guess I work with bytes. I don't really work with bits. So I think this entire file is for working with bytes. So you can see I take in a pool byte array. I kind of pack everything into a stream pure buffer so that I'm able to kind of iterate through it. So I thought this would be very slow, but it turns out it's pretty fast since it's just working off of like bytes directly. So it's just, I guess it's pointer arithmetic, right? So we kind of manipulate the pointer by how many values. So you can see that we have an OpenC int class, which the entire reason that this exists, and it just exists so that I can store this one value as a reference, right? Because if it was a value, it would not be modifiable, right? Values are not modifiable. You can only get a copy of a value, whereas if you have a reference, you can modify it, and it will save states. And so here we can say we're doing some, I call it pointer arithmetic, but I'm not sure if that is actually correct. Anyways, that's my spiel on bits and bytes. So I don't know, I think I'm going to need to turn off my face tracker for this, so hold on. Otherwise it's not going to start. So let's turn this off. Stop the face tracker. Give it a little bit for it to chill out. Ooh, drop some frames. That's good. And then we'll start this thing. So we have our tracker. Start the tracker. Ooh. So it kind of worked. Non-existence function broadcast element broadcast update element text. Eh? What do you mean? Broadcast update. Oh, broadcast update late. Oh, yeah, it should be broadcast label text. Okay, well, we can ignore that. Anyways, are we tracking? I don't think we're tracking. And there's no way to stop it. Okay, well. Where did the duck go? Well, you know, as previously stated, I needed to turn it off in order to test the tracker. Sometimes it goes away. Duck gets tired sometimes, but don't worry. He's always there with you in spirit. So let's see. What if I click on this again? Okay, well, that's good. Oh, it worked. How nice. I mean, it broke on this part, but that's fine. It works though. So this is update label text. Update. It half works, which is more than I expected. So we go back to tracker. Start the tracker. Ooh, takes a little bit. Face tracker started. Then we should stop. Ooh, it works, baby! Look at that. This label text did not update though, which is very unfortunate. And then we can stop it like this. Stop the face tracker. Ooh, that's not good. Start tracker is already connected to a given method. Why did it call ready again? Yeah, why does it call ready again? What's the stack trace here? No, yeah, I know. You called ready. Is it in process? If receive thread. Wait. Huh? What is this? If we have a receive thread, sure. And receive thread is not active. I think we can just get rid of this. Alright, cool. And I think that's good, yeah. Looks good. This part is still broken. But we can test this one more time, so we'll open it back up, run the face tracker. It takes a little bit. You can see our duck kind of grotesquely deforms itself. Start tracker still does not update, but that's fine. We can stop it. How nice. I think we can start it again. Nope. Clearly doesn't work. So that's a known bug. So I think I might as well start it now, or fix it now, since I'm already here. So let's see, perform reception. Yeah, I don't think we need to clear it here. But we can, we'll keep it around just in case. So start receiver, receive thread. Face tracking is disabled, so who cares? Stop receiver. If receive thread and receive thread is active. Receive thread, wait to finish. If server is listening, server stop. Is server listening? True or false? We don't really need that part. Where's the server? That's it. When do I initialize the server? Does the server just exist? Wait. Wait a minute. Who wrote this? I haven't touched this in forever. Where is it? Where's the first reference to it? It's all the way up here. Oh my god. What the heck is a UDP server? Is it a reference? Is it, or is it like an object? No, I need to null it out. It's quite lonely when we don't have our overlord the duck. I'm sorry. I'm trying to rewrite the duck. It takes a little bit though, and there's also a bug that I have the opportunity to fix. So you need to bear with me here. I'm sorry. Hopefully you can understand in my time of need. But I get it. Sometimes you don't understand. No worries. So let's see, base element. Let's see, on label updated. If label name does not equal label text. I put a PNG where you were. It's okay. If you really want to see me, you can always spam the 2 emotes that I have. I'll be there with you in spirits. So, start tracker, value, label name, start tracker. So label name, and then label name and start tracker. So that's fine. Boom. Label elements null, because we don't have a label. Yeah, there we go. I love how it stacks. Does it stack? I guess it does. Because I did just have I overlaid it on a blue background for whatever reason. I don't know what I was thinking at the time. Huh. So this is within base element. Huh. That's tough. That's tough, man. I thought this would work, but maybe not. So self. Which thing is this? This has... Oh, a button doesn't have a label. Oh my god. Okay. That makes sense. Stop the tracker. Yeah. I forgot the the most important part is that button elements don't have a label. Buttons just have buttons. Absolute genius. So we'll do elem. So this is going to be some sort of control. So if there is an element, then we want to update it and then just eat it afterwards. Otherwise, then we'll try to get... what does the button have? Buttons have just a button and then it's button text. So we'll account for buttons. So if element this time, then we'll do elem. It stands out. We always look over what is the most obvious. That's the most recent addition. I didn't used to have that. But thanks to a very generous donator who is still, I think, yeah, they're still visible in the gifters. We now have a thingy. We now have 2 whatevers. Input element, input button. think this one might need to be overridden. So unlabel updated. Yeah, the ASCII duck is the second emote, the second tier 1 emote I unlocked. Or I guess it's the first emote I unlocked in terms of when you first get affiliate on Twitch, you get 3 emotes for free, 1 tier 1, 1 tier 2, and 1 tier 3. Line edit.text. There isn't really anything to update here, I guess, huh? Yeah, I guess it would just be button. Yeah, but then you need to hit, I think you need to hit 15 subscription points in order to unlock your second tier 1 emote slot anyways. BRB going to hydrate. Good luck, don't get lost. I'll be here if you need me. Alright, so I think this will work. So we go to tracking. Start the tracker. Hey, it works. Look at that. And then we can stop the face tracker. Oh, and then it changes back to run face tracker. And then we can start it again, but then it doesn't do anything. Yeah, because I'm not sure why this doesn't really work. So we can look at OpenCGD. Oh, it's because listening is still true. So we need to turn off listening. Otherwise, it, yeah, I think there's a few things I need to do here. So one, I need to discard the thread. So how do I clean up a thread after I'm done using it? Godot, clean up thread after use. Using multiple thread. I don't know. I need to yeet the thread. I don't want the thread anymore. Yeah, no, I know how to use a mutex. I don't really understand semaphores, but I know what a mutex does. Mutex locks the everything that's currently on the thread. So wait to finish. I guess disposed will do what I want. Well, no, wait to finish does dispose of it, so I'm already doing that. So stop reception is listening. Wait. Back. Congratulations, welcome back. Glad you didn't get lost. Alright, so listening. Let's see, stop reception, listening is equal to false. What do I even use this variable for? Pretty much nothing, huh? I don't know, listening. Give me the deets. Where do I use this? That's a bool. That's doesn't do anything. Okay, cool. Okay, well that's cool, I guess. What do I use this for? Is server listening not used anywhere, so we can probably clean this up as well. So server stop. We'll close all connections via, I don't know, that are connected to the UDP server. Huh. So stop. Do I need to do anything else for stop? Closing the UDP socket if open will close all connected packet pure UDP accepted via take connection. Okay, sure. And then perform reception. We do a server pull, take connection, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Yeah, that looks fine. We don't even need to use listening here, right? Yeah. Is face tracker running is actually how I'm tracking listening. So I think there's a small bug. There's a small bug somewhere here. So stop reception, true. And then while not stop reception, we'll do all of this stuff. And so this shouldn't have a lock on, like this shouldn't have a mutex lock, I think. Right. So we wait to finish. Stop reception is true. Receive thread wait to finish. While not stop reception, server pull if server is connection. While offset packet size. I wonder if we're getting caught here. I wonder if that's the problem. I wonder if this is the problem. What if we do this? Since you can't, one of the problems is that you cannot set up your debugger to run inside of a thread. That's one of Godot 3's kind of pain points. It's poor thread debugger support, but I think debugging threads is already kind of hard in most languages or most engines, so not really a huge deal. So okay, there we go. There's the hellos. Stop the face tracker. Yeah, and then yeah. No more hellos. Okay. Then we go to here. Stop reception is true. Oh, because I never stop. I never reset stop reception. Oh, that's why it doesn't work. Oh. Now he's getting it. Now he's getting it. Now he's getting it. Stop reception is equal to false. Yeah. And then we can have just like a variable here. So if not stop reception. So if not stop reception. Yeah, we don't need to do this anymore either. So we can clean up our app manager, which is our, once again, our singleton thingy. So, and I think we can also move face tracker PID to just this class as well. So we can do face tracker FPS, face tracker var face tracker PID, because we don't really need to have access to any of that stuff. Right. So then we can modify this. So if not stop reception, then stop reception. Wait. No. Wait. No, that's false. That's stop reception, blah blah blah. Receive thread var is listening, I guess. Is listening. So then we'll call this. This is a bool. This is a bool. This is a bool. False. So we'll bring back this variable that we took out previously, but then we'll have this. If not is listening, then do all this stuff. Stop reception is true, is listening. Wait, no, stop reception is false, is listening is now true. So then we don't trigger this anymore. Otherwise, we can take this out. Stopping face tracker. So we want to kill all this stuff. We'll also do is listening. It's equal to false. Stop receiver should then toggle all of this stuff. Stop reception. We can move this stuff out of here. So stop reception. So yeah, so it kind of mirrors itself, right? Which is the nice part. So this goes back to what I was saying before about a big part of programming is having your code be readable. So having your code kind of look like itself definitely helps with readability, since this is just two sides of the same coin. So we're either trying to listen to our face tracker or we're trying to stop our face tracker, right? So first we have our log message, then we toggle these two variables. So is listening is true if it's not currently listening. Stop reception is false because of course we don't want to stop the reception. Otherwise, when you click on the button again, start tracker, we're no longer listening, and then we should also try to stop reception. So is listening handles the button function, and then stop reception handles the thread function. I like it. So then let's test it out again. I think this makes sense to me, since nothing else is really depending on those app manager fields, I think. So we start it. We can see that this is the duck. It's very duck-like. There we go. Hello, I'm a duck. Stop the face tracker. Face tracker stopped. Oh baby, run the face tracker. Hey, bug fixed. I did it. Aha. I think this is one of the bugs where I wasn't sure what the problem was, but now that I'm here, I've just fixed it. You gotta love it. Nice, exactly. Accidentally fixed a bug. Hooray! So I think this is fine. And nothing else seemed to break, so that's also a good thing. So we can take this out. That seems to work. Bunch of print statements. I don't think we need this either. I think that seems fine. Let's see. I think return value discarded. I think I've just removed those warnings. It's kind of a useless warning to have, but maybe I'm crazy. App manager. On tree exiting. Well, no. We can just do OpenCGD is listening. What is your problem? Oh, then we can just do OpenCGD stop receiver. One of these instead of doing something like that. Stop receiver can only be called from an instance. What do you mean? Non-static function can only be called from an instance. What do you mean? That's valid. What are you talking about? Is this the class name? Oh my god, it is a class name. Okay, get out of here. Yes. Okay, okay. Alright, keep cool, keep cool. This is one of the problems of using class names in Godot. Godot 3 is that Godot doesn't like it when you change class names. But OpenCGD is now a singleton, so we just always have access to it, so it's not a problem. Oh, please. OpenCGD. Oh, this is lowercase. Lowercase. OpenCGD is listening, blah, blah, blah. Tree exiting. Let's see. I think this is all good now. This is the tracker. And then, you know, we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or we're killing multiple birds with 1 stone. So here it is, the issue, This one, no, not this one, not this one. Dragon bones, no. Let's see. This one. So run OpenCPace from the UI on Linux and Mac. That's still actually not implemented. I know how to do it, so let's do that right now. Look at that. 2 thumbs up, I didn't even notice. I did have an issue about this, so once, maybe there's no issue on that. Maybe I'm crazy. No, there is no issue. Okay. It's just like a silent one that I've just kind of ignored. Anyways, let's do this one. So run OpenCPace from the UI. So here we can do, so if face tracker FPS is a valid float, then we can kind of assume the FPS. And then here, how do you get the OS type from Godot? So it's OS something. OS name, current screen, no. OS name, model name, get name. Returns the name of the host OS. Possible values are Android, iOS, HTML, OS X, server, Windows, Universal Windows Platform, or X11. I wonder if Godot works on... Does it work on Wayland? I know that's the modern generation of Linux renderer. Yeah, I believe... You know, macOS uses Quartz as its window renderer, but I don't remember if it's based off of X11. Anyways, let's do a match OS get name, I guess. Right, that's what it was called. Get name, get model name, get the model name of the current device. This method is implemented on Android and iOS. Oh, just generic device. So it doesn't matter, who cares? So it's just get name. So match OS, get name, some sort of string to lower, just so we don't have to worry about case. So let's see. Oh, and this needs to change as well. So face tracker PID, we have this here. Is face tracker running is no longer present here. So now this is, yeah, we can take this out. And so the match is going to be Windows. And then on Mac, or no, it's not Mac, it's OS X. OS X, X11. Then we'll have to do something else. Otherwise, I think we'll just have a default case. I'm interested to see if anyone will ever trigger the default case. Right? Because the default case implies, I guess, one of two things. First, if you ever hit the default case, you're probably running it from Android, iOS, HTML5, server, or Universal Windows Platform, which means that you have compiled, you know, the application yourself. And are somehow trying to run it, which is just amazing to me. And you're trying to run it on one of these platforms. Or it means that I have made a huge mistake in how I'm handling these. So if we're being honest, it's probably that I've made a huge mistake in how I'm handling these, but who knows? So unhandled OS. Unhandled OS type, I guess, right? And then we'll just kind of do OS. We'll kind of insert OS get name here. And this is an error. There we go. So var PID is some sort of int is equal to -1. Alright, so then we can grab all of this. Look at that, it is beautiful. So Windows, we can assume that you are, I guess, running it correctly, right? Ooh, that's ugly. So face tracker options, yada yada, and then here we can do this. PID is equal to OS execute OS get executable. No. How do I just run a I just want to run a shell script. Okay, OS execute. Maybe I should just provide a shell script. I don't know if that's really a good idea or not. Because, you know, I think part of the popularity of this project is that it does just run on I guess, Mac and Linux out of the box, more or less. Not out of the box. You do need to run the face tracker manually. But I guess that's more than can be said about the usual crowd of programs, right, which are Windows only. I think the problem here is that I need to... This is a little tough, because I can't just execute this. Actually, how do you execute it via Python again? I'm just completely blanking on it. Hold on. Made my own duck PNG. Oh baby, duck PNGs. Does that mean it's fan art? Should I be impressed? Let me see. Or not impressed, should I be flattered? I should say. Should I be flattered? Let's see. I need to turn down my AC, it's getting very cold. I think I should provide a shell script. I think that might work. And then to run this via Python would have to be... I have this on one of my computers, but I don't exactly remember where. Let's see, exports, where is it? So exports, OpenCface folder, OpenCface, and then does this just have... No, I think you'll need to have... I don't know. Where is it? There's NumPy, so this is all like the included stuff that we don't need to touch. Yeah, there's only the exe. So let's think. How does... I think I would need to provide just the regular folder as well. So we'll have two, I guess, copies of OpenCface. One is the Windows one, the Windows copy, and then two is the, I guess, just the Mac and Linux copy, where the Mac and Linux copy is just the raw code that you can execute via Python. Put in general text channel, hopefully nothing bad happens to me. Oh baby. PNG, I like it. It definitely has a certain vibe to it, as the kids like to say. 10 out of 10. Looks pretty great, mate. I rate 8 out of 8. Where's the 100 emoji? My favorite one. There we go. Approved. I guess you can kind of see my approach to Discord channels, which is there's really just the general channel because it's not really like active enough. You know, I'm more of a programmer, but I do, I appreciate it. Sick fan art, or maybe it's not even fan art. Maybe it's just duck art, in which case it's sick nevertheless. It's a very nice circular head, by the way. Kind of looks like a banana. Now that I'm kind of like seeing it out of the corner of my vision, kind of looks like a banana. Alright, so this is the OpenCface folder. OpenCface, wait a minute. Yeah, OpenCface folder. Then you have all the requisite stuff. Yeah, okay. And then if I just include this repo, more or less. Banana duck. Color ain't helping. Yeah, I don't know. I like it though. Banana duck. Do 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 do. Banana duck. Do 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 do. Banana duck. Do 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 do. Banana duck. Do 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 do. Okay, so I think this will work. So here's what we're gonna do. Instead of I guess writing kind of like some just random Python stuff, I think I'm just gonna have a script to execute from here. Sick flowers. If I had points to give to you, I would give them to you. However, I do not have points. So let's write a script. So we'll go into export, new file. Let's see, we'll just call it run opencface.sh. Look at that. So let's bin bash it. Bin. So as always, you should shebang it, but you don't have to actually, since I did provide a file extension to it. That's actually kind of one of my pet peeves is that I think old school programmers or system admins don't put file extensions on their like scripts. So you always just have to check like, you know, in the terminal you have to type in like file, or no, you need to type in like file license whenever you know, are about to run something, just to make sure like what is this thing? I don't know what this is. It just makes it unreasonably difficult. But yeah, let's see. How do you check to see? I'm not very good at bash stuff like this. Or I know I'm good at writing bash scripts. I just don't remember how to do if-else checks. So let's see, bash check if command exists. How can I check if a program exists from a bash script? Yes. Command v the program. So if not command v the program, then echo hey. So not if. Okay. Do I have access to command here? Command file. I don't know how this works. Command v file. Oh, what does command do? Executes a simple command or display information about commands. What does v do? Prints a more verbose description of each command. Interesting. Okay, well. I don't know. I guess we'll just try. Let's see. The following is a portable way to check whether a command exists in path and is executable. So then we'll grab all of this. God, I hate this. I hate the bash if else syntax. It's so garbage. So Python. How do you do else if? bash else if. There we go. Thank you for listening to me, Google. Yeah, tech admin. I don't know. I don't care. If condition, then else. Okay. Where's else if? Else if. If else. If else. Elif. Is it elif then? Oh. Elif not. Or no, if. So if we have Python, then we'll do a thing. Otherwise, elif, grab all of this. Boom, Python 3. Actually, we should check for Python 3 first, right? And then we'll check for all of this. So we don't need exit codes. Exit codes are for nerds. Although you probably should include them, but I'm not going to. So give command Python 3, then we'll do Python 3. open cface folder. Well, no, I guess it would just be open cface, huh? I think this just works. So if you go into here, yeah, if I just include this entire repository, it should just work. So open cface, and I believe, yeah, that's the name of the Git repo. So I'll just provide like a modified version of it. And then we'll run facetracker.py. Yes, facetracker.py with, oh no. There's not really a good way to, no, there is a good way. I know how you would pass commands. It's gonna be, I hate this type of programming. Is there a way to kind of sub out these commands, by the way? I don't do that. My bash scripts mostly are just like chains of commands. They're not usually this complicated. Alright, so how do I get bash? Get bash scripts. Get arguments. Yes. How do you use command line arguments in a bash? And then it's Beldung. Linux. Yeah. I thought Beldung was mostly like Java, but maybe not. So we have positional params. So sh, some script, positional param 1. Okay, so I guess the first positional param is just your script. Interesting. Anyways. That looks good, I think. That looks good, I think. So then we'll have to go here. Oh, geez. I suppose I could try to inject the string into it. I don't know. Or we can just do this. Positional param 1, positional param 2, positional param 3. How many are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, geez. There's only 20 positional params. That's no problem. 5. We're just gonna do this the manual way. And then if, I guess someone doesn't like it, then they're free to submit a PR that works. How do you... let's just add a lamau. Because I know this is bad. But we're doing it anyways. How do we access by flags, by the way? Case... get ops. Oh. Might not always have get ops, though. Yeah, that might be tough. Yeah. And this is the one that I'm familiar with, the shift operator. But it's not what we want to do. Because I need to pass all of these in. I don't know. If you're a Linux scripter out there, a Linux sysadmin out there, and you know a better way of doing this, just let me know. But I'm pretty sure this will work. Which is why I'm doing it. So there you have it. It's beautiful. Will probably work, I don't know. Sick ASCII ducks, bro. Okay, so here we go. PID is equal to this thing. OS, get executable path, base directory, and then we want to grab... we actually just want to execute this command here, which is... let's see. What I call it, run opencface.sh. Run opencface.sh with the face tracker options. I don't know what the rest of the options do. What is this one? This is output array, but we don't need it. Blocking, false, true. Read standard error. I guess we will. Yeah, looks good. I don't know. Let's add a comment. So run OpenCFace from UI in Linux and Mac. Might be solved by... Oh, hello, 2 pills. Welcome to the minion squad. Let's spawn me back in. Check this out. Oh geez, it's so green. Let me get this off the screen. Wow. Oh, hold on. This isn't just your normal stream avatars. This is my custom build of it, where we can just it's physics enabled and also channel points enabled. How cool is that? Wow. Wow. And also, I can just have a little UI here. Let's make myself a mushroom. Let's make myself upside down as well. I don't know who I selected, by the way. Alright, so... might be solved by... I need to reference this pull request. So this is number 34. Might be solved by... UI refactor. Or how do I just reference UI refactor? UI refactor v3. Might be solved by number 34. Uses a shell script to execute Python. A Python command. There we go. So in case you were tracking it, there it is. Otherwise, we'll just return an error saying that you can't run it. Or also, let's see, OS execute. So what does return standard error do? Read standard error. Let's see. The return value also depends on the blocking mode. When blocking, the method will return an exit code of the program. When non-blocking, the method returns a process ID, which you can use to monitor the process. If the process forking or opening fails, the method will return -1 or another exit code. I don't know. What if we do this? Else. How do you do... Okay, I was just looking at it, but how do you do if else? Else. Let's see. I need to just return. Hello, return, please. Exit 1. Else exit 1, I suppose. Or I don't know. Or no, this doesn't give me the exit code, or this doesn't give me the correct stuff. So actually, this script is completely worthless. I nod along, having almost no idea what's going on. I think this part is actually fairly informative, I think. Right, because this is pretty close to, I guess, more system admin kind of stuff. So it might be good for you. I don't know. Might be informative. I said almost. Okay, well there we go. You got me there with the technicality. Darn you, English. Okay, oh, you know what? Here's what we can do. So we'll do face tracker options. So if it's OS X X11, then we'll do face tracker options. Push, oh no, we have to push, our face tracker options is equal to this. Append face tracker options. Can you do this? No, you can't do that. Assign values type. Hold on. What if we do, this is a pool string array. No, that's not how this works at all. Okay. So what I'm trying to do, because I'm realizing now that if I just run this bash script, I actually will not be returned, you know, I will not be given this process ID. So I need that process ID. So that's of utmost importance. So there's a few things that we can do here. One is what I'm thinking is, in order to get this process ID, because I need to run this directly, I can't just run it through a script. At least I don't think I can. So I will reconstruct this thing here, right? So this is a pull string array, so I'm not able to push front. However, I can do modified options is equal to, which is some sort of an array. Maybe not an array, it'll be a pull string array. Pool string array with this thing in it, right? And then modified options append array face tracker options, like that, right? And then here we'll need to do several checks. So basically what we're doing here, so I need to check to see if Python 3 exists, and then I need to check to see if I guess just regular Python exists on your path. Because I do know that not all OSs come with Python 3. Most of them do, but not all of them. So if you don't have it already installed, so if you don't have Python 3 and you don't have Python 2, then we need to just abort immediately. And that's why running this thing from OS X and X11 is a huge pain. So let's see. So this is Python 3 exists is equal to OS executes. What are we executing? We're executing command v Python 3. Wait, what'll this give me? I feel like I shouldn't be trying to run this from Windows. I do have I have an M1 Mac that I use for some development as well. And I also just have a million Linux boxes, since that's kind of my day job is Linux. Which is weird. I do get hate sometimes because like, people ask me why am I doing development on Windows, and it's like, it doesn't really matter, man. Like, Linux is really good. I think if you are trying to test out server-side software, because guess what? I mean, it just makes sense to develop on the OS you're planning to deploy to, even if you are, you know, using containers or whatnot. You know, you can't get better than bare metal. Programming is programming, yeah, more or less. The OS matters a little bit. But the biggest thing is that my primary audience is probably going to be running Windows, not Linux, you know. You know, if I had the option, I think I would like to use OpenBSD a lot more. OpenBSD or FreeBSD, one of the big BSD systems. FreeBSD is actually pretty big. Like, did you know that? Whatchamacallit? You know, the PS4. I don't know anything about the PS5's operating system, but I'm assuming it's the same. But the PS4 runs off of FreeBSD. Its OS is based off of FreeBSD, which is pretty cool. I want to say the PS3 was based off of Linux, but I don't remember. And so was the PS2 somewhat, because you could boot into Linux. I remember. Executes. Blocking is true. Pause execution while waiting for the process to terminate. The shell output. Oh, this is what we want. The shell output. Oh. So if we do command v python 1. Okay, so if it doesn't exist, it just gives me nothing. So that's good. So then we do command v python arguments. Nothing. No args. Let's see. False. Blocking true. I think that's it, right? No. Blocking true output. Oh. Python 3 output. Alright, okay, no, we can do, we'll call it var shell output, which is some sort of empty array, right? This one we don't actually need to store because this is we don't need the, I guess, the return value, right? All we need to do is check to see if the output exists. So if blocking is true, pause execution while waiting for the process to terminate. The shell output of the process will be written to the output array as a single string. When the process terminates, the Godot thread will resume execution. So output read standard error false. So we just need to provide output at this point. So shell output. So shell output is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And so if shell output is empty, wait, no, if not shell output is empty, then do a thing. Otherwise, we'll need to try. Let me see. There's a few things. One, this needs to go somewhere else. So go here, boom, boom. I'm trying to think how to best structure this. So this, what we're doing here is we're checking to see if the appropriate stuff exists. Huh. So it executes blah blah blah. Otherwise we'll do roughly the same thing. Shell output clear, just in case. Then we'll do os execute command v python, and then we'll just try to execute python 2. Or maybe you don't even have python 2 installed, therefore python 3 is just aliased as regular python for whatever reason. Might be possible. So we'll do all of that, and then we'll just pass. And I think what we want to do is trying to think what you want to do. If not shell output, there's a good way of doing this, but I'm not thinking of it just yet. So yeah, I think we should throw these up here, right? And then can't really think of a better one. What if we do var python alias, I guess? Some sort of string. Oh, we'll just leave it empty, right? And then, so if not shell output is empty, then we can just assume that it found the command. So then python alias is equal to python 3. Right, so here's the logic is we'll run this command. So command v python 3, and this is what it returns. So command v python or command v python 3 will all give me some sort of value, because that means that we are able to find the command on your path. And you can see here that command v python 1 returned nothing, and that's kind of what I'm depending on. So while I cannot think of a better idea, unfortunately. Alright, and then this should be like an else. So check for Python 3 first, and then we'll check for Python 2. And then no one is running Python 1, so we don't have to worry about that. So we'll run this. We'll run Python alias. So PID is equal to OS executes whatever we'll execute this at this path. We'll execute at this. Oh no, this is wrong. That's wrong. Hold on. Yeah, that's wrong. Hold on. Oh, mom's up and gave me candy. Are you sure that's not your mom? Or are you sure that's your mom and that's not your uncle? Anyways. So let's see, we'll run a few things. We'll run this. Boom. And then facetracker.py. So this is the idea. Is we'll do some sort of string formatting for Python alias. What kind of candy was it, by the way? It's a good candy. Don't really eat that much candy anymore, although kind of a weird happenstance. I used to eat a lot of candy and I had almost no cavities, but ever since I stopped eating candy, I've had a lot of cavities. So I'm not saying that the candy prevents cavities, but I am saying that I've had a lot more cavities now that I've stopped eating sugar. She gets up this early for work. It's pretty early, man. It's pretty early. That's like +6. It's 4 a.m., right? Something like that. If, let's see, Python alias empty, and we'll just return. And then we'll do @manager log message 5 a.m. Oh, well, that's why I'm not a mathematician. Very bad at math. I tried my best though. I tried my best. That's actually, I mean, that's pretty early, I'm not gonna lie. I used to, when I was working two jobs one summer, I was working as a fry cook. So flipping patties for 8 hours. That's possibly one of the worst jobs I've ever worked. So, and also I was the dine-in fry cook, so I was at a fast food place, of course. So I would need to come in at like 6:30, so that's when I would have to wake up at 5 or 5:30, drag myself to my car, go there, do basically all the cleanup and setup, since there's a lot of things that you need to clean in fast food, right? So like the fryers, possibly one of the worst things I had to clean. And it's not even like cleaning out the grease. Well, cleaning out the grease trap is always super gross, but then like I guess the crumb trap at the very, very bottom of the fryers, now that was horrible. It smelled absolutely awful. It was super difficult to clean as well, since it's, you know, when you're frying like fries or stuff, the fries have all the you know, they're kind of crispy, whatever. Or you're frying chicken, you have the crispy bits. And so you have those crispy bits kind of like congeal together at the very bottom of the fryer and you need to scrape that off. Oh, it's so gross. And it's hard too. It's also like really tough on your back since the crumb strap at the very bottom is it's heavy, right? So it's just, you have to like kind of like bend over on the floor to scrape everything off. Anyways. And then after that, so that summer was really bad, yeah. So I would do that from like 6 to 2, have an hour break, then have to go in, work second shift at Walmart for and then work from like 3 or 4-ish to 2 a.m. And that's just like, it's like 2 hours of unloading trucks. And then the rest of the time you just kind of walk around aimlessly. You know, you're supposed to be doing picks where you stock the stock the trolleys for like the restockers to stock the shelves. So that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. I loved riding on pallet jacks though. And factory worker, long shifts. I'm used to dragging myself out of bed from 5 a.m. From bed at 5 a.m. Ugh. Oh, and thank you for the follow, 2 pills. Much appreciated. Yeah, no, I'm no, it's not something I want to do again. I've never worked in a factory though. I had a friend who worked in a factory as their kind of college thing. Although they were, mechanical engineering, so I guess they were more on the tooling side. I don't really know any factory workers. I know that some big streamers, like was a Small Ant 1, like to watch that guy. I think he said, well, he didn't work in a factory, he worked in a lumber mill, which is different. What's your problem? Basic model cannot be loaded. Oh, please. Does basic model have problems? Should we go to entities? Basic models. No. Basic model. What's your problem? OpenC, GD, OpenC, data. There we go. Can't really complain because work pool is bad here. You mean work pool or work options? So I guess if the work pool is bad, then that's good for you, right? Since they have no choice but to take you. But if your options for work are bad, then yeah, I get it. Just learn how to program, forehead. Right. Both, I mean. Oh, well, that sucks. That's unfortunate. Oh, okay. OpenCGD. Where doesn't match the variable's type. What does this give you? OpenC data. Oh no. I think that works. What are you talking about? Yeah. So there's a few things that are broken, I see. It's a physics process. Really hard to get minimum wage locally, but oh well, have more free time. I suppose. Alright, I think we had to take the type off this, unfortunately. And we can stop this. Close it. Wait for the stream to kind of very slowly break open. Yeah. I mean I can't imagine, I guess, that kind of life. Well, I can't accurately imagine that kind of life, I guess. But I hope you can find better work. Unless you like blue collar work, I don't know. I think if I got paid the same wages I got now, but like, I don't know, doing inventory. I like doing inventory. You know, my favorite job I've ever had was working at a burrito place during school. Now, if I could get the same pay I get now, but to work at a burrito place, I think I would take it. Even though, like, you know, you have to stay on your feet for 8 hours at a time. Or not 8 hours, I think it was only 4-hour shifts. Because it was like some sort of student restriction or something. But, I mean, that was probably one of the most fun, some of the most fun I've had at a job ever. Because, you know, it's mostly just like, I almost always worked closing shifts. So it's, you know, it's pretty lax. There's a slight dinner rush, but not a huge deal. Look at that. It works. Haha. No, not a valid float. Where? No, of course it's gonna break. Hold on. Assertion failed. Oh, jeez. Model display screen 26. Oh god. Okay. Well, now we're borked. I'm still at my first job, so I don't really know. That's fair enough. Fair enough. You got a lifetime of jobs ahead of you, to put it in the most grim way possible. Alright, so input. So this is an input element. So we need to modify input element. Alright, we can ignore this. Input element. So on text entered, emit event. Oh, I guess we shouldn't do this. Right. Yeah, so we just take out all of these. I think that's fine. And then this should work. Yeah, I've worked a few jobs. I don't know. I think I get... When I was... my first roommates out of college, they gave me a lot of crap for... I don't know, like going to like a lesser school, but then it was like, I asked them like, how many blue collar jobs have you worked? And they're like, only one of them, which is a guy who worked in a factory, but he was like, some like a mechanical engineer, an engineering assistant. So it was like, you got nothing. I've worked all these jobs. No, I've mowed lawns before. I was like, you mowed lawns for your dad? I've also mowed lawns before. I don't really think that counts as blue collar. Alright, so there, oh yeah, because there is no translation. Oh, but these things are on, so we should be applying translation, but maybe we aren't. Let's see. I don't appear to be... I believe pose will work, so we turn this off, turn off trail tag. Oh no, it is tracking these, yeah. Look at that. You can kind of see the entire model moves with the configuration. I know how to use a weed whacker because I'm the only one who knows how to mow the lawn. Yeah, well, it's not too difficult, right? I mean, that's the beauty of blue collar jobs, manual labor jobs, is that it's not hard to understand the task. Well, I shouldn't say that. So like plumbing or like being an electrician, those seem difficult to me, if only because it's not really inside my skill set, I guess. Also, this isn't working. I wonder if these are broken. So these damps are... Yeah, doesn't appear to be doing anything. I should be able to load in one of these though. Right? Yeah, and then we can load back in regular duck. but it's not applying to any of the actual tracking options. Yeah, I don't like using weed whackers, if only because it's just easier to use a push mower in almost every situation, unless you're trying to do like edging, and not that kind of edging. Ooh. So why aren't these applying? Oh, you know what? I know why these aren't applying. Oh, have I? Oh, this is gonna break. Okay, well, just kill it. This is still going to be running, by the way, face tracker. Let's not close the wrong thing. So this needs to be just regular face tracker PID, right? Because we set this all the way up here. And then I guess we should also just check for if PID is greater than 0. Or no, if PID is less than or equal to 0, then we can assume that we failed to start. So then we'll do one of these. Oh, I guess we'll just grab these commands. So if PID is less than 0, less than or equal to 0, then is listening is false, stop reception is true. Using the regular modes with steep slopes is a pain though. Just get good, forehead. It builds character. Yeah, no, it's tough though. Yeah, for sure, it's tough. I don't know. I'm fairly short, so it's actually easier for me to use a push mower, because I can really get under it and just push. Whereas I suppose if you're taller, you need to bend over more to push up a steep slope. App manager log message, and then this is like failed to start tracker, and then return one of these. Did my character building 5 years ago. What about the rest of your character development? Your story arc. How can you be a real character without at least 10 story arcs? Riddle me this. You know, it's pathos. The character changes. I think this'll work. And then the problem here is that model display screen is not taking these translation values. And so, let's see. Various tracking options. Apply translation. Okay, so this is something that we need to change. So if we go to, I'm thinking, hold on. Model display screen. So this is the last part that we need to change. So anything that uses, you know, apply translation, which is a bool, any of these things need to be hooked into our config, I think. My grass mowing character arc is done. Oh baby. I'm happy for you. So is mine. I hate doing yard work. Which is why, like, I had the option, right? Because now that I'm, you know, more or less completely work from home, I was like, I could just, like, go out into the countryside and buy a house. Because house is way out in the middle of nowhere. Pretty cheap here. Pretty cheap here. But it's like, I also, like, hate having to mow the lawn. Not a huge fan of doing that. So I decided to just keep living in the city. Where I pay HOA dues, and then the building keeps track of all the upkeep for me. They do all the upkeep for me. How nice. Physics process. So interpolation rate, head translation. So what if I... Let's see. What if we have something that's like config updated? So whenever you update the config, or what if we just pull values straight from the config? Does that make sense? Or we have something that's like config on, or whenever the config saves, it then updates the model display screen as well? Question mark? Maybe. Why am I talking like this? Isn't it kind of weird? How if you just pitch your voice up like this, it makes it sound like you're just asking constant questions. You know what? Also, I'll BRB. I need to use the restroom. Oh, hello. Hello, hello. The thinking throne? I was not on the throne. I was simply, watering the flowers, as they say. Not pushing daisies. There's a lot of, like, flower-related, innuendos in English, aren't there? You're pushing daisies, pushing up daisies, watering the flowers, or pushing daisies refers to just dying. Watering the flowers refers to urination. I guess there's only the two that I can think of right now, but I swear there's more. A green void with giant text. Yeah, I need to recompile, or maybe I won't recompile. I need to modify like this stream background, right? It's been I don't know. I modified it, then chat asked me one day to recompile, so I did, and now it's all kinds of borked. And that's the last time I ever listened to chat. Let's see. Ooh, my voice is getting kind of crackly. If I talk down like this. I was there at the duck command. Yes. This is your fault. But not really. Maybe a little bit. So there's a few things we can do here. Yeah. So I think this one, yeah, we can, no. I think we should leave this in. So these are like the hotkeys. So if you use the hotkey, I guess it'll just work. No, not this one. Oh god, get rid of it. It's so green on my other screen. But yeah, so you can move it around like this. It's a bit weird though. Seems a bit laggy. So you can move it like this. What happens? Oh, look how fast it goes now. Whereas if I stop holding left click, it's a little slower. So I can get double the speed if I do it like this. Interesting. So yeah, we still want to keep these options in. It's these tracking options. And let's see. Yeah, it's really just these tracking options that I need to modify. Or not even all of these. It's just apply translation, applied rotation, and then interpolate model and interpolation rate, right? So I think what I can do is whenever we call this, and by this I mean save config, we can also just update the config at the same time. So we'll do app manager, main model display screen, and then we'll copy this. So I'm not sure if this is the greatest idea, but we can do it. Apply translation is equal to current model config apply translation. So that should work. And then we'll just grab all of these. Yeah, well, I suppose it might be better to do it like this. So we'll do var mds is equal to app manager model display screen, and then we'll just use that reference here. mds apply rotation is equal to current model config apply rotation. Don't know, I'm not sure if this is the best idea. So we can either we can do it this way, where whenever we save the config, we also apply the settings back to the model display screen, or we can just have the model display screen always pull the data straight from the config file. You know what? I've convinced myself. Let's just pull it straight from the config file. Why are we making this complicated? Why make this complicated? So this will just be app manager cm current model config apply translation, right? And then apply rotation, pretty easy. So we can take these out. Apply translation is only used in one place, so goodbye. Apply rotation should only be used in one place as well. Oh, need to get a new mouse. Interpolate model. Huh? Huh? Where is this used? Oh no, it's used in interpolation rate. Huh? So this is called from somewhere else. So set interpolation rate. That's tough. That's tough. So set interpolation rate. That's tough, I'm not really sure. Not really sure. I'm on the smaller fan behind me. It gets really hot whenever I wear like this my headset. So we can clean this up as well. Let's clean up some comments. Look at that. Interpolation rate, still need to think about that. Still need to think about that. So, set interpolation rate. So we can grab, where else is this used? I guess. This is really only used in interpolation data. So we open up interpolation data. Then we have our interpolation rate. Yeah, the rate. So where is the rate used? The rate is just used here. I guess the rate is just used here. So we can, let's copy this over. And then this will be, where's my config stuff? Config stuff. No config stuff, huh? Config manager. So we should have interpolation. Yeah, interpolate model. I don't remember where this is even used, but interpolation rate can be accessed by doing, oh, not that. It'll be app manager, cm, current model config interpolation rate. One of these. And then we'll just replace rate everywhere where it appears. Look at that. So we do need to also interpolate blinking and mouth movement as well, but that's kind of a future improvement. We'll get to it eventually. So if we look at this, I think this should work now, maybe. So if I go to tracking, start the tracker. Oh geez. So interpolate model is true. Interpolation rate is also true. That doesn't make any sense. We can turn off apply translation. We can turn off apply rotation. We can do this. Yeah, see, it works. And then there's no translation damp at all. I don't think these work. Or these don't work as expected, I guess. Or maybe there's almost no dampening going on. So I think this one is defaults to 0.2. Doesn't appear to have worked. Yeah, it doesn't appear dampened at all. Maybe it needs to be 0.2. Not sure. Just set it to 1. Not sure. Additional bone damp. If we set it to 0, additional bone damp. Where is additional bone damp used? We can turn this off. Additional bone damp. Oh, you know what? Some of these are actually stored on the model as well. So basic model. So you have your damps. Oh, that's why they're not working, is because they're actually applied in a different place. Oh, I hate how I wrote this. So the gauge strength, head bone. Oh no, there's a lot of things that need to listen to these updates. So maybe I should just have these subscribe to the values, if that makes sense. Signal broadcast stuff. Yeah, that might make more sense. So let's go here, boom, boom. Just undo everything that I did here. Boom. Yeah. So this was, what did I change? It was apply translation, yeah. And so here, what we can do, for now, I think this makes sense to do, right? So we'll do connect, or we'll do app manager, signal broadcaster, connect. Which thing are we trying to connect to? Is one of these translation options. It's probably going to be apply translation, self, on apply translation. And so we want to connect to everything that is relevant to us. And you know what, at this point, I think we might as well turn on the duck again since we're not going to be seeing it for a little while. So run the face tracker. It appears to have started the frame rate at 30, even though I set it at 12, but that's cool, I guess. I wonder if that's a bug, but it's just really hard for me to catch. I have no idea. Apply rotation. Self, and then on, apply rotation. App manager, SB connect. Apply rotation, interpolate model, self, and then on, interpolate model. I think there's a way to do this programmatically, but I can't think of it right now. Oh yeah, you know what? You know what I could do is to do this programmatically. It's kind of weird, for sure. But for I in these things, so apply translation. Because Godot is very heavily string driven, that's the term. So interpolate model. Let's see, apply rotation, interpolate model, interpolation rate. That's not how you spell it. Interpolation rate. And where is basic model? Basic model should track I, right? No, is VRM the only one that does should track I? I don't remember. Anyways, these are the 4 things that we want to modify: apply translation, apply rotation, interpolate model, and then interpolation rate. Then we can do app manager, SB connect, I, self, then on, whatever this is, and we do a little bit of string formatting. So because of how I structured it, this should just work. It's kind of gross, to be honest, but you know, what are you gonna do? On apply translation. So apply translation. So what does this use? Signal broadcaster. I think that just gives you a Boolean, right? So translation, no. Apply translation, yeah, it's a Boolean. So let's see, value, some sort of bool. And so apply translation is equal to value on apply rotation. So this is really the only thing that we need to do manually here, I guess. So we're able to hook it up to the signal broadcaster programmatically, but here we do need to spell out every single, I guess, callback function, which is fine. Makes sense to me, I think. So on interpolate model, so interpolate model equals value. I think when I was looking at the UI, it was actually incorrect as well. So we look at tracking XML. Let's see, interpolate. Yeah, so interpolation rate, this should be an input. Yeah, not a toggle. Interpolation rate, interpolate model is a toggle. So that, because that's yes or no. Interpolation rate, though, that's a value. Yeah. So func on interpolation rate value, and then I believe that's a float. So interpolation rate, yeah, that's a float. So self dot, or I believe we can just call set interpolation rate value like that. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then kind of similarly for basic model, we need to connect to these various damps and the gaze strength. Well, no, head bone, translation damp, head bone, damps, gaze strength. And I think that's it. Yeah. Everything else is more or less taken care of. I don't remember where, but it is taken care of. Where is... Oh, yeah, the various list elements take care of the mapped bones automatically. So now we just need to take care of this. So for I in, we'll call it head, bone, translation, damp, rotation, damp, additional, bone, damp, gaze, strength, I guess. You know what? It's not actually that much longer, so we can do like this. So what do we want to do? We want to do app manager, signal broadcaster, connect to I, self, and then on string format, I, like that. A little gross, a little gross. And then here we just need to generate the functions. So on head bone. So what does head bone take? It takes in a string, so some sort of value, string. This is painful. This is painful. But I suppose it is easier than having to, I guess, hard code every single toggle to every single value, which is what I used to do actually. So in theory, this is more maintainable. I'm not actually sure if it's actually more maintainable. Translation damp, some sort of float. Yeah. I think this is a very good candidate though for... So I wrote a library that allows you to like modify files at runtime, kind of basically a preprocessor. It's called preprocessor GD. And so it allows for code generation at runtime, which is nice. Sick duck emote. Where'd you get that? Oh wait, it's my own channel. On additional, how do you spell this? Additional. On additional bone damp. So this is once again value float. Do you have any other ideas for emotes, by the way? I'm open to suggestions. So I think the next suggestion for an emote was like a pivot emote. That's mostly like Knock, who is a long time supporter of the channel. But there is the 1 channel point reward, which says pivot, right? And the intention there was... Oop, this is wrong, by the way. This needs to be a float. Gaze, strength. Yeah, so if you redeem pivot, I will just change to whatever you want me to do. Within reason, of course. I won't do anything, but I'll do my best to accommodate. I guess if you like that idea, then we can go with it. As the next emote. Gaze, strength. That's an input float. I guess I've just never changed that for some reason. Weird. So gaze, strength, float, seems fine. And then config manager, gaze, strength is a float. Yeah, it's weird how I've never changed that. But I think that should be good. These are the 4 things I need to change. There's one more thing I need to change inside of VRM. The VRM thingy. So VRM model, I think has... Oh, and VRM model is lots of stuff you need to modify. Where is should track I? Oh no, should track I is done here, isn't it? In a model display screen? Maybe not. Where is should track I? Should track I. Oh, this is an app manager thing. Why did I do that? So I think I can move should track I. Right, there's only 2 instances of this here. Yeah, and then should track I should be a... I guess we can make it a bool. Yeah, why not? So this is various tracking options, of course. So then we have var should track I bool, and then because it's a bool, we can always modify it as well. Or we can use it as an integer, which is a bit weird. Should track I. Right. And then we'll go down here, and then we just need to set it up. Func on should track I value some sort of bool. And then we'll do should track I is equal to value. Right. Then we need to go here. We no longer use the app manager one, because I think that was like a really quick hack, since oh no, someone was asking for it. So your wish is my command, etc., etc. So should track I, you are now a tracking thing. Should track I, that's a toggle. Yep, seems fine to me. Let's see. Wow, it's like really, or at least I can hear like the subtle bass noise of me drumming my fingers on my table, which makes sense since my microphone is just on my table as well. I think this will work though. Yeah, seems okay. Should track I is there. We took it out of app manager. Oh, interpolation data. We need to modify VRM model. Does not need to be modified, I think. Yeah, it's just interpolation data at this point. So then we'll do interpolation rate. Well, no, because model display screen should be handling that. So let's turn this off. Say goodbye to the duck once again. So goodbye, duck. Ah! My frames. Alright, I've dropped 57 frames so far, which isn't too bad. Not too bad, not too bad. So let's send it. Look at that. We're tracking. Start the face tracker. Tracker started. Wow. Where? Invalid operands. Vector 3 and bool and operator. Okay, hold on. I know where that is. I know what that problem is. Okay, so that's face tracker exe. So it's inside of model display screen. So I know why that's happening. So it's not doing an automatic conversion to a float for me. So it's where is it? Where is it? This one. So float. So we can convert floats, or we can convert booleans to floats pretty easily, right? Because booleans internally are just represented as zeros and ones. So 0 is false, 1 is true. So I believe this will work. Or maybe they're actually represented as integers and maybe this won't work. We'll see. Please work. Haha. So the interpolation rate is absolute garbage right now. Should track I, that's fine. Seems a bit twitchy. I like this though. Look at that. So if you apply translation, the duck will kind of like stretch out. It looks a bit better, I think. Oh, is it because the interpolation rate's all kind of messed up? Ah, geez. Invalid type in broadcast. Cannot convert argument 2 from nil to float. Broadcast interpolation rates. Invalid type in broadcast. Okay. Oh no. So that's the pain of working with threads. Okay, hold on. And then the face tracker is just running in the background as well. Okay, so let's see. That's one of the input thingies. Input element. So Let's see. I think we just need to do this first. So if text, if not text, or no, if text is empty, then we should just return. Don't do anything ever. I think that was that problem, probably. That problem, probably. All right, so we break our neck. That's good. I mean, currently we're not actually interpolating. Please, cannot convert argument 2 from nil to float. Invalid type in broadcast interpolation rate via call in base reference. And then the debug stack trace is wrong. I don't know where the error is. So let's see. Drop me back into the thing. I think I should probably I need to make the chat avatar thing. I need to make that I guess the timeouts on the little avatar is a bit higher, I think. But yeah, I'm not sure where this is happening. Cannot convert argument 2 from nil to float, which makes sense. Alright, bring me back to here. Face tracker. Don't stop OBS. So, emit signal. Or does it not have a data type? Is that the problem? Is that tracking.xml? So interpolation rate doesn't have a, oh, it doesn't have a data type. Oh, that's why. So this needs to be type float. So all the input ones need to have, you know, an input type. Otherwise I have no idea how to check what it is. So okay, that makes sense. Okay, one more time, let's do it. All right, break my neck. We're not interpolating like at all. Look at that, and now it looks a lot better. Very high. Oh, because there's no rotation damp, so it's basically using like the raw data. Ooh. Now we're super damped. Okay. So I think I can look at that. Look how smooth it looks. Look at that. It works. Aha! He's done it. And then we can also just turn off interpolate model. Doesn't appear to have done anything. Let's see, what should interpolate model do? There's a few things we need to make happen. One is this. So this is start. We'll call this, we'll call it start tracker, and I think in OpenCGD, I think I also need to modify this constant. So this is run tracker, stop tracker. There we go. So then it, yeah, amazing. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not, but I think it is pretty sick, personally. You know, this is the culmination of like a month of work, all for this. Not bad if you ask me. Git commit. So this is more or less finished with UI refactor. I think there's still a few things I need to change. So one, model display screen should track I. No, that should track I. What do I use? Wait, should track I, hold on. Something doesn't seem right here. Should track I, no, that's fine. Interpolation, or no, should interpolate model, where is this used? So if should, hold on. Interpolate model is a boolean, but then we can just use it as you know, whatever. We can use it as a float. Yeah, what if we do and set interpolation rates equal to interpolation rates times interpolate model? Maybe that'll work. So we basically have an easy way to turn on and off the interpolation, where interpolation is basically just like smoothing, right? So you can see that this is pretty smooth. But we turn this off, what this should do is make it really jittery, because now we're using the data directly. Doesn't appear to have worked, unfortunately. Doesn't appear to have worked. Maybe I can just take this out? I don't know. Hold on. Let's print. Let's print some stuff. So print float value. Give me the float representation of this. So let's go back. We'll go back to tracking. Start the tracker. There it is. It is beautiful. And then I can tell that we're still interpolating. So that's 1. So we are now interpolating. How nice. Turn it off. I'm not sure. Like if we turn the interpolation rate just to 1, right? You can see that now we're not doing any interpolation whatsoever. So it's now, it looks really choppy, but also it maps 1 to 1 with my movements. Whereas if we put it at 0.1, we kind of like slowly glide over to where I want to look at. So let's see. Nice. Yeah, well, it would be nice if only this part worked. If only this part worked. But it doesn't. I need to figure this out. And then it's done. And then it's done. So you set the interpolation rate to, let's see, interpolate model. I'm thinking. Brain is turning. So we can do like a last interpolation rate as well. So var last interpolation rate float. No, I don't think we should do that. Maybe we should just take off interpolate model. So there's a good way of doing this. Last interpolation rate let's add a note. So this is used for toggling interpolate model on/off. So we need a value to go back to, right? So what I'm going to do is this. So when you on interpolate model, we can do, well, we still need to have this part, right? And then if value, so if the value is true, right? Then we want to set the interpolation rate equal to whatever the, the interpolation rate is, right? Otherwise, else, we want to set the interpolation rate equal to 1. Well, first, before we do that, we want to do interpolation rate, or last interpolation rate. Last interpolation rate is equal to interpolation rate, right? So if you ever toggle interpolate model, we'll try to use the last interpolation rates, right? Yes. Yes. And then whenever you set your interpolation rate, we'll also modify your last interpolation rate. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense, yeah? So whenever you click on the interpolate model toggle, we'll store the value, of course, and then if it's toggled on, then we want to set it to whatever the last interpolation rate was. Otherwise, we'll store the last interpolation rate and then toggle, and then change the regular interpolation to 1. Oh no, we can't do this. Hold on. Take this out of that. Otherwise, we're just unsetting it, which is doesn't make a lot of sense. So these two need to be separate. Right, we cannot set the last interpolation rate inside of set interpolation rates, this function. Otherwise, we never get like a real last interpolation rate. So I think that should work. So let's see, go back to tracking. This is just a lot of trial and error now because we're so close. Need to press space, turn it on. So we're now interpolating, turn it off. Does not appear to be working. Why isn't this working? That's tough, that's tough. And also, it does not appear to be applying translation as well. So you do need to toggle that. I wonder why apply translation doesn't get automatically set, or apply rotation. Or I wonder, oh, you know what? We probably need to pull these values initially. That makes sense. Interpolate model still isn't working, by the way, so that's tough. I think there's a good way of doing this, but I'm not really picking it up just yet. Not picking it up just yet. Interpolate model. I'm thinking. Set interpolation rate. All this stuff. So what is interpolation rate even used for, actually? Yeah, it's not really used for anything, I suppose. It's actually used for, I guess it's just used for storing the interpolation data, huh? Yeah, could be. And then we need to do, we'll do set I. So we need to initialize the values, of course. So we'll do @manager config, and then these are all going to be current model config stuff get I. So then we can initialize all the values, right? I think that'll work. Interpolation data doesn't need to do anything. At manager. Wait, no. We'll do set I, because these map 1 to 1 with the variables. Because that's just how I decided to design it. Current model config get I. So I think that should be good enough. I still need to figure out the interpolation rate though. Still need to figure that out. Please work. Ooh. Looking real jank. Not really working, gonna be honest. It's kind of working, I think. I don't know. Apply translation. Something isn't right here. Something isn't right here. It appears to be tracking even less than it usually did. So apply translation. There is no translation though. So we can start tracking this, and then if I look left and right, nothing really seems to be changing. Caller. It's hard to tell. I think it's working. I'm not sure. I don't know. These still work. And then I can even mess with... Oh, it's the additional bone damps, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Hold on. So let's stop the tracker. Load it back in. Oh, geez. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. So the very, very last thing we need to do is look, if we can make him dance. The last thing we need to do is I guess reinitialize the model position. Yeah, and then it's more or less done. I'm not really sure what's going on with interpolation rate. We'll keep that as a to-do, as in it's may or may not be doing anything. To-do may or may not be working correctly. But of course, you can always just modify the interpolation rate if you're not happy with it. So model display screen. So we can grab the... Which things do we need to grab? We need to grab the position. So we have a model parents, initial transform. Okay, so we have these inside of the config manager. So the bone transforms, who cares? Model transform, that's a good one. So we'll do model transform. So this needs to be, let's grab this actually. This needs to be app manager, CM, current, model, config, model, transform, right? And then this one, similarly, grab this, and then this is app manager, CM, current, model, config, model, parent, transform. So these are all saved and then deserialized as soon as we open up the application. So I think, model parent transform. Oh, set it as a function. There we go. This, no, okay. Please save, please save. Finish saving config. It takes a little bit for the debounce to take effect. No, okay, so that's not working. Because it's trying to set it as the default. I think. Model parent initial transform. What are these used for, by the way? Actually, where are these even called from? Yeah, I don't know. Actually, where are these even used? Where are these even used? You know what? These might not even be used. What the heck? So, basic model. Yeah, these aren't even used. Okay, how strange. So let's do model parent. One of these. So this is model parent transform. And then we'll do model equals one of these. So this doesn't appear to do anything. This doesn't appear to do anything. I don't even know why I have these. Let's open this back up. This should, maybe. Okay, so please save. Save me. Yes, finish saving config. Send it. Oh no, because these don't make it. This doesn't make any sense. This needs to be global transform, I think. Then this also needs to be global transform, right? Because these are spatials, I believe. Model parent, model parent, model parent. Good enough. No, it's not working, huh? Oh, and there's a few other like debug things I left in here. So GUI, there's some just random print statements somewhere. Print debug, we don't need this. Then there's also should track I. Where is this? Should track I. Oh no, where is this? Is this in list element? List element. Config data. Oh no. Where is it? Set up GUI nodes? Oh no. Oh no. There's just the one config message here, but I don't remember where it is. I can't think of it right now. I remember why I was doing this is because I wasn't able to actually load in the preset data, but now it's actually loading in correctly. But now I need to, I guess, stop printing out random stuff I don't need anymore. So config save instance, is it on load preset? No. Let's see, playing hide and seek with you? Yeah. I know it's there. I know it exists. I just don't remember where it is. Like it's log message. It's one of these log messages. Invalid, blah blah. Unhandled tag name, unhandled. Loading metadata. GUI, loading GUI file. Invalid data. Unable to do this. Unhandled. Invalid prop. Invalid. Okay, it's not here. Where else could this be? Is it in config manager? Log message. Invalid, invalid. Begin loading. There's 19. Begin loading config. Unable to read. Does not exist. Saving config. Finish saving. Invalid metadata. Jeez. We've wrapped all the way around. Okay, so it's not here. I think I'll need to do a find. I'll need to run a find command at some point. Why did I do this? And we're still not even loading in the correct data. Okay, hold on. I think I know how I would like to do this, or how I can find it, alright? So set up GUI nodes. I just need to follow the kind of hierarchy. Oh no, load preset. So we load the preset, set up GUI nodes. It's in one of the setups. Is it in toggle element? No. Is it in base element? It might be. It is. Oh, I found it. I found it. Okay, cool. Cool. He's done it. So now we just need to, I need a way to set this. So what should be happening is that every time I load in the model, you see here that the position is, I guess, slightly closer to the camera, right? So we were to go to this one. Oh, I guess the position doesn't get changed. But this one should change the position, but I guess not. And then when we load back in, right, what should happen is that we should be loaded back in at this preset, but we're not. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. So model display screen, model initial transform, that doesn't matter. If you middle click, it'll send you back. Oh, that's what these are. Oh, model initial transform. These are used down here. Oh. So we do need these. And then this one needs to be... Oh, this is also backwards. Huh. Yes. It's really just a... Yeah. You are your own worst enemy in terms of programming. Like, who wrote this? Which is my thing I happen to say a lot. I know who wrote it, but I like to pretend someone else wrote it so I can be angry. I would like to be angry. Alright, but we no longer have... Well, I guess we'll still get IK errors, but let's see. Yeah. Let's see. There's a few things that we need to do. Let me think. Why isn't this working? So global transform. What if we just modify the regular transform? Because we are waiting until it's ready, right? Oh, and then another thing is this part, is the offset timers. So if we just do this, public functions, like func, tracking started, doesn't do anything, but it does do this, right? And so what this does is it kind of sets a timer. Tracking started. Right, so what this will do is it kind of like auto-resolves the neck breaking of the model. So you might notice that happens sometimes, or it happens every time. And then I just, you know, we set our offsets appropriately. But I have to do that manually every time. So that's what this piece of code was supposed to do, but I guess it just doesn't work. So let's see. We can do, if not stored offsets, then we'll do all of this, right? I'm not sure about this part just yet, but we'll figure it out. Model initial transform, and then also this part. All good. So here, what should happen? So So it's still not working. I'm not sure what's going on here. Here. So we'll start the tracker. Neck breaks, and then it should auto fix. Maybe not. No. All right, that's cool. Neck is still broken. Turn it off. So that didn't work because I didn't hook it up. Okay. All right, good job, me. I forgot to hook it up. Open cphgd. So whenever you click on start receiver, it looks more broken. Yeah, well, it's because I forgot to do this part, which is this. Start receiver, but we don't want to do start receiver just yet. What we want to do is app manager, main model display screen, call this function. Yeah, one of these. So this should look less broken now that I'm actually calling the appropriate function. So neck breaks, then it should unbreak. It should unbreak. Anytime now, anytime. Or I guess we can roll with the broken neck. Why isn't this working? So, what is the offset timer? Tracking start delay is tracking start delay, 2 seconds. Let's set it to 3, so hopefully, maybe it's just the fact that we're not waiting long enough. Wait time, auto start, true. Call deferred, add child offset timer. Then on offset timer timeout, what that does is, you know, if you freeze the timer, open C data, blah, and then we do a save offsets call. Yeah. That's weird. So that should have worked, I think. So just click on face tracker started. We're looking for 3 seconds. Finish saving config. So it's not working. So no offsets were saved. And we are waiting like 3 seconds to unbreak it. Because I'm not sure how long it takes for the tracker to start, which is why I'm waiting so long. So this is another thing that should be relatively easy, but I'm just not getting it just yet. So if not stored offsets, oh no, let's add a print. Because we are now trying to work with this kind of stuff. Oh, okay, interesting. Since we're now working with threads, this will no longer work, which makes this tough. So if not stored offsets, so what is stored offsets? Oh. So if not OpenC data, that's what we probably want to do. Not OpenC data, not the offsets. So I think this should work, maybe? Question mark? Right, because we always initialize the offsets, so they'll never be null. Yeah, there we go. So you break your neck for a little bit, and then we fix it afterwards. Okay, cool. So we're still not able to set your model's initial position for some reason, though. And is that because I'm not... Is that because this value is wrong? So we go to JSON beautifier.org, throw this into here, and then there should be like a model transform, model parent transform. Okay, so these are never set. Okay, so that makes sense. So why are these never set? That makes sense though that they're never set. Because I'm not sure how those are even supposed to be read. That's tough actually. So so we have model parents and then there's just the model. So model, where is model available at? Do I just store it here? I do. So let's see, whenever we save our config, that might just be something that we need to, I guess, just handle manually, I guess. That's kind of gross. So config path. So save config. Yeah. Yeah, so let's do current model config model transform is equal to JSON util, wait, no. Will just be equal to @manager main model display screen model dot transform, right? And then we'll do something similar for model parent transform, and then this is going to be model parent. So hopefully we'll be saving stuff, so that's kind of a hack. Let's add a to-do. This is gross. So hopefully I'll think of a better solution in the future, maybe. Who knows? So we don't even need to turn on the face tracker for this. We just need to wait for it to save. And then we can go to ASDF, load in the preset. Nothing happens. Weird. So that should save the config. We can load it back in. I'm trying to think. That should have worked, but it didn't work. Yeah, so this is correct. Oh no, that's the basis. What? Model parent transform. No, the origin, no, that's right. So the origin moves, right? So the model parent always handles, you know, origin movements, while the model transform handles basis movements. So basis is like the rotations and all that, the scale factor, whereas model parent handles the origin, which is just like position in 3D space. However, it's not setting those transform values properly. But anyways, I think I'm about to send it anyways. So let's see, git commit load in data, load in config data properly, mostly. Push. All right, cool. So that's not, that is being done properly. It's just that this isn't, basic model is not respecting it for some reason. And then basic model is just the model. It's not the model parent. Model parent and model need to be modified from here. I don't know. What if we change where these are modified? So we do this. Huh. So that's still not taking it. This is weird. Just wait for it. It gets really close to the camera. Finish saving config. Close it. Open it back up. You're killing me. All right. So I was hoping that would work, but I guess it's not going to work. Bring me back to here. So one last time before I call it quits. So the origin has changed, the basis has changed. So these are all correct. We're just not We're just not setting them properly. So, let's see, really quick. So we go here, and we can just add a print, right? So we'll print out print model parent transform, right? So wait for it. Oh, wait a minute. Where does model parent get added? What? Model parent. Oh. Oh. It gets stuck at that point. That's why we're not ever doing anything. Oh. Yeah. So I was waiting on model parent to be ready, but it never will be ready because it's already ready. So it will never be ready a second time. What I should have done was yield on the model, since we're adding the model as a child. So the model is not ready. So we wait until the next frame until it's ready, and then we do all the initialization. So now, yeah, there we go. There we go. He's doing it. I think presets are still broken, but you know what? I think we're gonna send it. I think we're just gonna send it. Send it. I don't care. I want to be done with this. Fix loading model transform data. Push. I love it. All right. Now we go back to here. Pull request. UI refactor. How many commits are there? There's a million commits. Send it. He's done it. Delete the branch. We don't need it. And there we go. Look at that. It's still like butt ugly, but this is what we got. So we get uncomfortably close to the camera, and then we can start tracking. Start tracker. Look at that. Ooh, geez. Look at that. We can make him dance because there's absolutely no bone damping. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh. That's good enough. I think presets are still broken, but I'll have to live with that. I don't think presets modify the model transform. They might. For a moment the duck was unwrapped. Yeah, I think it's necessary because there's no way for me to know, I guess, when to start, I guess, setting the offsets, I guess. It's hard to tell. So that's why I do that. So instead I set it on a timer, 3 seconds, and then we reset the transform. Otherwise, yeah, the duck will start like super turned around. But yeah, look at that. I think that's okay. That's okay. Those are our presets, app settings. Yeah, everything more or less works, right? So we can modify stuff like this. Documents, so we can add in just random stuff. Actually, like we can go into like hot tub, GLB. Look at that. There's our hot tub. We can put the duck in the hot tub. Look at that. So we're in a hot tub now. Gotta love it. And I wonder, will this save itself? Oh geez, I forgot to turn it off. Send it. Hot tub stream when? You know, I used to call it a hot tub stream actually. I used to call it a hot tub stream because I had just the hot tub loaded in like that. But I guess for obvious reasons I no longer do that. Look at that. Yeah, this is now a hot tub stream. Yeah, I used to do it, then the presets broke and I never got around to fixing it. But now here we are. I suppose, yeah. I think that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. This has been a productive stream. I will be live tomorrow from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, working on something else. I'm kind of done with working on this for a little bit. If there's any like glaring bugs, yeah, I'll work on it, but for now, I think this is good. Because, you know, we have the duck looking real snazzy. So yeah. Let's see. I really need to work on my closing statement here. But it's, you know, check out everything in my description below. Got a Discord, so you can join if you want. You know, report bugs or whatever. Talk about features that you want to see. I have no idea. Have an itch.io where I upload game jam stuff. Oh no. KT, you have come at the end of this stream. How dare you? It is a hot tub stream though. Look at this. I guess I can still show this off while everyone is still kind of here. But so I have rewritten the entire UI for my, you know, the face tracking thing. So now it's a lot more reactive. So we can see that we no longer track certain things. If we turn it off, turn off all this stuff, we no longer locomote like we usually do, or we can turn it back on. So we can kind of dance. We have props that we can just custom load in. We can modify the light settings, although they don't really do anything except because the duck is unlighted, unshaded. But we can, I guess, change the color of the hot tub, I guess, by changing the main light. Also works for VRM files, which are your standard anime models, which we can see here. We'll run through it really quick. So a quick note about Godot. I just found out Sonic Colors Ultimate report on that, which is big. Yeah, well, it's the Sonic. Yeah, I saw that too. Sonic Colors used Godot as the renderer, which is kind of like what I'm doing, I guess. Please don't crash. Yeah, hot tub. Oh, this is still a bug. Let's see. We can bring me back. So I forgot to de-instance all the props whenever you load in a new model, but yeah. Godot is finally making in the big leagues. And also, did you see that Tesla's new software uses Godot for like the rendering as well? Well, rendering and also some application logic, which is cool. So it's going places, I guess. But yeah. But yeah, this piece of software I wrote in Godot is available free and open source, MIT licensed in my on my GitHub as OpenCFaceGD. Finished the UI rewrite pretty much just now, so it looks a lot nicer. I still need to, you know, kind of mess with the theming so it doesn't look as, I guess, basic. You mean feature? I suppose. I suppose. Anything's a feature if you're if you try hard enough, or if you believe hard enough. But yeah, you can find this piece of software on my GitHub below. You can also find random game jam games I've written on my itch.io, also in my description. Have a Discord if you want to, you know, place a feature request or need support or whatever. This piece of software supports all kinds of models, so VRM models, which are this one, regular GLB models, which was the duck. Hopefully this works. Oh, we broke. Anyways. That's going to be it for me for today. Weird. I guess the MIT open source licensing is exceptionally compelling by the business industry. Yeah, I mean, MIT means that you can use it commercially. The only stipulation about using MIT licensed software is that you must reproduce the license somewhere. So I think if you just redistribute the license, it's usually considered good enough. To be extra safe, you should display the license in its entirety inside of your software, which is what I know Near Automata does that. Yeah. No, I'm not really a huge fan of GPL software. I have heard the reasoning that if you're writing a library, you should do MIT or Apache. If you're writing an application like I'm doing, you should GPL it, but I don't care. Right? This is more just like a portfolio thing for me. But anyways, yeah, gonna be live tomorrow from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, working on an actual game instead of this thing, which is, just the face tracker. Start the tracker. Look at that. Breaks your neck, and then we reset your offsets. But yeah, I'll get a preview build out at some point, mostly for Windows, and I'll get a Linux build out whenever I get around to it. No Mac build since I don't have a Mac to test on. But yeah, let's find someone to raid. I feel bad, but does anyone have any suggestions in chat who to raid? Otherwise, I'll just find someone who's doing game dev, I guess. Let's see. Browse. Who's doing game development? Let's see. Someone doing some ASC sprite stuff in Korean. Probably don't want to see that. 3D modeling. Oh, there's user 335. I like user 335. Let's raid user 335. They're doing Unity, which you might be familiar with if you're coming from KT stream. Riddle Grim is a guy me and KT know who's on it. Oh, is Riddle Grim already streaming? That sometimes happens where people will mention people, but they're not actually streaming, so I just send you to someone who's offline. Ooh, all right. Let's send you there. Riddle Grim. Super excited they added a game dev category finally. Yes, they did. It broke my science and technology streak though, since that was the only thing I streamed. Yeah. All right, let's send it. But yeah. Thanks once again for the raid, KT. Much appreciated, but came at a poor time, but it's not your fault. Let's go. I'll see you guys tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. At 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time. Goodbye.